Hey VC, how's it going? Billy here, coming at you today, January 1st, 2020. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody had a great Christmas and a wonderful New Year. I wish you all the best in 2020. Coming at you today with the Vinyl Tag 2020. I want to give a huge shout out to Andrew for putting together the questions that I believe it was Andrew. That's who I got the questions sent to me by, so thank you for that, Andrew. I'm pretty sure he put a lot of thought into this. Whoever did it put a lot of thought. Maybe Andrew had somebody help him with the questions. I don't know, but either way, obviously a lot of thought went into these questions because it took a lot of thought to answer these questions. Let me tell you that. So first off, let's start off with a little drink here, a little drinky drink, some black tea, unsweet tea. Good stuff. Still a little congested. I don't know why. Every year around the holidays, I get this head cold, and it's just aggravating. Let's jump right in. Vinyl Tag 2020. Question number one. Best find of 2019. I had to give that one a little bit of thought, but the first thing that popped into my mind was the Alabama number 3 that I showed in one of my recent country music finds, but this definitely takes the cake. I haven't shown this yet, so this will be the first time for you guys seeing this. Number 1 grail for me, at least the last 5 or 6 years. Travis Tritt, Proud of the Country. This is his independent release from 1987. 1987, much earlier than his 89 and 90 release, Country Club, major label release on Warner Brothers. Very hard to find on Copper Hill Records. Word is there were 500 of these, I believe 500 of these produced, maybe more. Either way, I've seen one of these, not in person. I've only seen one of these pop up for sale, and it was signed and personalized. I didn't want to go that route. Like I said, in 6 years of trying to find this, it being the number 1 grail on my list, it is the nicest one that I've seen. It's perfect, near mint all the way around, just absolutely gorgeous. So glad to have this one in the collection. Travis is one of my all-time favorites, and this is definitely a gem in the collection. So that's my number 1 find of 2019 right there. Question number 2, favorite album of 2019. If you guys had watched my country music countdown, which was my top 10, my favorite top 10 country albums of 2019, you saw that Tyler Childers' Country Squire was my number 1 country album of the year. However, that was not my number 1 album of the year. I did not get around to making a number 1 top overall, just mix of all genres. I just got around to doing the country one, but this is my number 1 album overall, 2019. Bruce Springsteen, Western Stars. I lived with this album for weeks and weeks and weeks, and this came out about the same time as the Tyler Childers record did, or Tyler Childers, sorry. Came out at the same time as the Tyler Childers, but this one here, there's something special about it. Bruce, even at his age, there's no denying the pure genius and magic to his songwriting. His voice is still as strong as ever. It is beautiful. It's a kind of a concept record, but man, is it great. I love it. I've turned a few people onto it. Matter of fact, I believe Brandon actually loves this record as well. But there you go. My number 1 record of 2019, Bruce Springsteen, Western Stars. Can't wait for him to tour with the E Street Band this coming year. Apparently, fingers crossed. We'll see. Number 3, show a novelty record. So you guys know, being a lifelong Cardinals fan, and working for the team, team photographer, I have a pretty special place in my heart for the St. Louis Cardinals, and this is a St. Louis Cardinals 1967 comp with Harry Carey and Jack Buck doing commentary. There you go. Old Harry Carey. You guys, you Cub fans know Harry used to actually broadcast for the Cardinals. So there you have it. Actually, did color for Jack Buck, I believe, but this is really cool. Spoken word, just Harry and Jack going through the highlights of the '67 season. Kind of cool little novelty record there. And question 4. Show an homage cover. A cover that pays homage to another artist. Man, this one took a lot of thinking. But once I finally put my finger on it, because I could have went with like Weird Al or anything like that. Jared and I were talking about one. I think it was Tech Nine did Michael Jackson Thriller. That one was kind of funny. But this one here, I'm so glad I went with this one. Wheeler Walker Jr. Redneck Shit. This came out in I think 2016. Yeah, 2016. Produced by Dave Cobb. So Wheeler Walker. The story on Wheeler is he's a comedian that has kind of his shtick is making raunchy country music, but it's great. Produced by Dave Cobb. Great session musicians playing on this. Funny, raunchy. Kind of like the old David Allan Coe stuff, but without the bigotry and racism and things like that. This is more just dirty, 13-year-old guy talk dirty, but funny stuff. Anyway, Wheeler Walker Jr. paying homage to Lee Greenwood. I love that. That's so great. Then let's see. Question number 5. Show a B cut or a B side or a deep cut. Again, I was gonna dig through some 45s, but I thought one of my all-time favorite songs always has been Garth Brooks, and of course you guys know he just released the box set, the Legacy box set. But this is an original release here. The Legacy is going to have a bunch of writing down here. It'll say like the Legacy edition or something. But this is my original from 1992. But the track I'm talking about here is track number 4, Every Now and Then. I'm sure we've all been in relationships. And when this came out, I was probably going through a time emotionally, whether with a girl or whatever, and that song just really struck a chord with me, and still to this day does. Basically just reminiscing about old relationships, whether they've gone south or what have you, you still think about the good times. And so basically, I think he says, I walked down to the park last night, warm breeze stirring up a soft moonlight, and my mind started drifting to way back when. Yes, I do think about you every now and then. And then he goes on to sing, I love my life, and I'd never trade between what you and me had and the life I've made. She's here and she's real, but you were too, and every once in a while I think about you. We all know that feeling. I guarantee you we've all had that feeling at least once in our life. That song really resonates with me. I love that. So that's my favorite deep cut right there. Question number 6. Show something funky. So I got that new JB's. Was it More Mess on My Thing? Such a great funky record, but I just recently showed that one, so I figured I'd dig deep into the bins here and show some other stuff that probably I haven't shown before. So Parliament, Mothership Connection, about as funky as it gets. George Clinton, Bootsy Collins, really great funk record. I mean, might be, other than the Funkadelic Maggot Brain, might be one of the funkiest records ever recorded. This is killer, absolutely funky. Question number 7. Weird Shelf Buddies. So speaking of funky, I was digging through and almost pulled this one. Miles Davis, On the Corner. Great. You don't typically wouldn't think of Miles being funk. He's more jazz, some fusion. But other than Bitches Brew, On the Corner, and maybe some live album, Miles really didn't stray too much into the funk side of it. But this is a very funky record, really funky. Not funky enough to overtake Mothership, But we're talking about weird shelf buddies. So Miles Davis next to the Dead Kennedys. This is what is that one? Rotting fruit for what the hell is it? Fresh fruit for rotting vegetables. I always screw that one up. But anyway, weird shelf buddies. I'm sure they have some stories that they like to tell. So it could have gotten a lot weirder, but what you guys see behind me is pretty much all my basic pop rock, blues, jazz. The only thing that I separate in my collection, which I've got this wall here that you see, and then there's another wall that goes around on the other side. So this here is primarily rock, pop, jazz, blues. There's some hip hop down here. So the only two things that I do separate are my country, which is way over here. All that is country. The country takes up about half the collection. Then another half, I'd say maybe not half the collection. Maybe 40% of the collection is country. Another 40% over here in the corner is hard rock and heavy metal. And then the other 20% is this stuff that you see here, which is everything else. So it could have got really crazy if I were to put all the heavy metal and country and mix everything in alphabetically like some people do. But the reason I separate it from me, the reason it works for me that way, is because country and heavy metal are the two things that I listen to the most. It's weird, but that's the way it works. Question number 8. We got to move along here. We'll be going on for an hour. Question number 8. I was there. A band I've seen in concert. So November 15th, 1993. Meatloaf, Fox Theater, the fabulous Fox Theater. Bat Out of Hell 2. Back into Hell. Love this album. The show was phenomenal. Me, my best friend, my girlfriend, his girlfriend at the time. Front row center. Unbelievable concert. Probably one, if not the best concert I've ever been to, definitely in the top 2 or 3. Hands down. Just an unbelievable show. This was a great album, and I was glad to catch him early on that tour. Like I said, November 15th, 1993, Meatloaf. Question number 9. I wish I had an OG copy, but I'll settle for a repress. Dylan at Noble Records is going to agree with me on this one. I think a lot of you guys will probably agree with me on this one. Townes Van Zandt, self-titled. This is a as far as listening quality is concerned, this one I'm sure is going to top anything else out there. This is the Fat Possum. They do a great job on their reissues. This is the Fat Possum reissue. It sounds phenomenal. But just for collectability's sake, I would love to have an original of this. These things are pricey. I think I've seen one in, maybe 1 or 2 in all my years, 30 years or more of collecting. I've seen 1 or 2 originals. And in the last 5 or 10 years, they've been close to $300 or more. I've only seen one, and it was $300. I think that was in, it may have been in Nashville, Tennessee, when I was there with Brother George, Elvis vinyl guy, a few years back. But this thing is absolutely hard to find. Dylan from Noble Records will attest. You just do not see these albums anywhere on the original Poppy label. But that's the one that I would love to have an original copy. But for now, I'll settle for this Fat Possum reissue. Let's see. I meant to take this one out of the shrink. Question number 10. Okay, so actually this is question number 11. So question number 10, let me take another drink here real quick. Get some of that tea. Question number 10. A discography that you own. Maybe you own all the major releases of an artist, or the artist that you own the most of. I have several. I'm not going to lie. George Strait, Hank Williams Jr., Dwight Yoakam. I mean, especially when it comes to country. But I mean, even in metal, Metallica, Van Halen, so many bands that I have so much of. But the one that I'm probably maybe not most proud of, because some of these were really hard to build. This one was hard to build. I'm very, very proud of this one. This is my box set. It's on the original. It's in the original. I found one of these original Capitol boxes. It's got, and this is a big one. This thing holds like 30 30 records. I was gonna make a custom box for that, but since this artist has been on Capitol Records his whole career, I just decided to keep it in this Capitol box. I thought that was kind of cool. But the artist that I'm speaking of is Bob Seger. So here's just a couple here. I'm not going to show everything, but Bob Seger, the Bob Seger System. You know, there's Bob Seger System, and then Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. His career spans from 1967 until now, pretty much. I mean, his last record may have been like 2017. So you're talking a ton of music. So there's that one. I'll just show a couple. Here's a hard one to find. Noah. Mongrel. Of course, those three Bob Seger System albums, kind of tough. This one is one of the toughest. Brand New Morning, really nice OG copy of that. Like I said, I'm not gonna show all these. This was a tough one to find. I know Jeff Kempen will second me on this one. This is a real tough one to find. Back in '72. Just show a couple more here. Just find some more of the obscure ones that you don't see that often. Here we go. From 1991, The Fire Inside. And right on through. Oh, you know what? There's a really cool one in here that I wanted to show. It's I think from 1978, maybe, an Australian comp that you just don't, it's not a very expensive record. I don't know, 20, 30, 40 bucks, but you just don't see it that often. The Bob Seger collection. Very cool. Like I said, Australian comp. And then lastly, I'll show his most recent, I Knew You When. Really good album. Good stuff. And this is from 2017. So, there you have it. That's some stuff from Bob Seger System, and Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. Love that stuff. This is the one, question number 11. Show a unique center label. So I should have pulled this one out. I meant to pull it out of the, well, you know what, I'll just show it here. Ike and Tina Turner. And this is out of season. But I love this this center label here. Oh, there we go. Blue Thumb. Let's get it to, there you go. Look at that. Blue Thumb. That one is really cool. I don't see many of those, and I thought that one was really interesting. Matter of fact, it's the only album in my collection that I have on that label, so I was glad to show that one. Let's see, moving right along. Number 12, Pre-Band. Album or band that featured someone who went on to be famous. Let's see, I'll show this one. I'll show a CD. Unchecked Aggression. This is from 2002, I believe. Yeah, 2002. And this is very much a power metal band. This is, like I said, Unchecked Aggression from Texas. A Texas metal band. The Massacre Begins. The lead singer, Cody Jinks. Y'all might have heard of Cody. If you watch my videos, you've heard me talk about Cody. There's Cody right there. The short guy. Get that to focus. It doesn't want to focus, but it'll work. Work for what we're working with here. There you have it. Cody Jinks. And I actually was able to get Cody to sign this when I saw him. Actually shot his concert here in town. Handful of months back, and he kind of freaked out when he saw that. You don't see those very often. Those things are very hard to find. So there you have it. Unchecked Aggression. Cody Jinks. Let's see. Question number 13. Musical book. Show a musical book or movie you'd recommend. I don't read too much. I just don't have time for it. But I do enjoy reading when things are quiet. But what I do enjoy reading when I have the time are things like this. And this is Slash, New York Times bestseller. It seems excessive, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen. This book is great. A little paperback book. It didn't take me too long to get through it. But this came out, I'm gonna say, 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know exactly when. You would think it would show right on the. Oh, here we go. So 2007, man, it's been out quite some time. But this chronicles Slash's life, from a kid all the way through, 2000, the mid 2000s. But some really outlandish stuff in here. Great stuff. Kind of reminiscent of Tommyland, which is a great one. Nikki Sixx, Heroin Diaries. I love reading stuff like that. So if you guys are into this kind of stuff, great book. Let's see where we're at now. Question number 14. Show an underrated album. That was a tough one because everybody's got their own different version of underrated. But what I am going to show is one of my favorite artists. This is Colter Wall. This is his self-titled album here. Got that signed. I picked this one up signed. Didn't get to catch his show, but the local record store had a few that they got signed, so I went ahead and picked one up. I was actually working the night he played. The last 2 times he's came through town, I had to work and missed his show. But absolutely love this guy. This is a once-in-a-generation type artist. I'm telling you, it's a shame that the world doesn't know who Colter Wall is. Everybody should know who Colter Wall is. He basically kind of the lyrical genius of Townes Van Zandt with a voice reminiscent of Johnny Cash. That's really what you get here. Produced by Dave Cobb. You keep hearing his name come up just because he produces some really great stuff, phenomenal stuff. You see his stuff on the list. At least for me, I pick it up if I don't know who it is. Odds are I'm going to enjoy it. I did read a review one time where somebody said something to the effect of how many virgins did this dude have to sacrifice to get a voice like that? You've got to check it out. Love this guy. Like I said, it's a shame that the world doesn't know who he is. Once in a generation type talent. Love Colter Wall. And then we are moving right along. We're closing in here. Number 15, a batting average. Show an artist or a band who consistently makes good albums. That, to me, that was easy. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of modern country or bro country, whatever you want to refer to it as. But as far as modern country artists are concerned, Eric Church, he makes great stuff consistently with every album. Every time he comes through the door with something, it's going to be good. I don't even question it. I just pick it up. And Eric is one of the best, one of the finest singer-songwriters and performers there is. He puts everything into his performance live and when he puts his pen to paper and voice to vocals to tape, guitar to tape, whatever. It is unbelievable. He has some of the best stuff. I'd say he's put out, 5-6 albums at this point, and every one of them are just unbelievable. Great stuff. Eric Church, I say he's easily hands down for me. This I wanted to show too. You see the stamp on the back, second pressing. I still haven't been able to get my hands on a first pressing of this. So anybody out there in the VC that might be able to help a brother out, I'm not looking for a handout or anything. Just I'll work a trade. I'll buy it off of you, whatever. But I'm looking for a first pressing of this Eric Church Carolina. I know they've made tons of different pressings of this, all different colors and things, but I'm looking for a true first pressing. Anybody out there that might have something, hit me up. Let me know. Moving right along here. Question number 16. Same album, different cover. Easy. Leonard Skinner, Street Survivors. Story behind this, and quick shout out here. My buddy Mitch Wood sent me this one. This is a first press, first Italian press. Just a gorgeous copy. Now you see that there on the back. Well, that is the revised front. Story behind this: when this album first came out, they had this is the original cover. Obviously, the band or a handful of members of the band, including Ronnie Van Zant, Steve Gaines, and his sister, backup singer Cassie Gaines, passed away in the plane crash. And just it's kind of eerie the way Steve is engulfed in those flames. So I don't blame the family for wanting to get this cover revised. So they did. There were just a boatload of those that were already pre-shipped whenever that had happened, and this is the revised. They just airbrushed out all the flames. You know, they took the back cover. You can see a different. It's this photo. So it's not like they didn't airbrush this particular photo. It's a different photo that has been blacked out. A lot of people think that they just blacked out the frames, but they didn't. It's a different photo. But there's the same album, different cover. Question number 17: an album that you bought cheap that's now worth money. Gosh, I have a bunch of those, but you know, I have a handful of guys that I go see, and I like to support them. Anytime I go to a concert, if they've got vinyl there, I will typically try and buy it from them. And this guy is no different. I've always bought my vinyl from Jamie's merch booth. He's always been great about having vinyl at his merch booth. And odds are, smaller acts, if you buy their stuff at their merch booth, you know that the money's going directly to them, and B, there's probably not a whole lot of them made out there. You know, they're selling them out of the trunk of their car, literally. They're going to be worth something someday to somebody. And this one was just one of those that turned out I paid $20 for it from his merch table, and it's probably worth around $200 to $300. They go for regularly now. It's a 3 LP set, the guitar song from 2010. Jamie Johnson. Let's see. Question number 18. Man, we are closing in, thankfully. Question number 18. Favorite drummer? Easy. Eric Carr, Kiss. Always has been, probably always will be. Just love Eric Carr. I was going to show, like, Revenge, but, you know, Eric didn't play on Revenge. That was the album when he passed. He was just too sick. He didn't play. And Eric Singer came in. So I figured I'd show this one. This one doesn't get shown a lot in the VC. Smashes, thrashes, and hits. Eric Carr, Kiss. Favorite drummer. Question number 19. An album turning 20 in 2020. Man, this makes me feel old because I can remember where I was when this came out. Obviously from St. Louis, from the area, you know, the greater St. Louis area. But when this came out, I was in Nashville making country music, and this hit hard. It hit home and it hit hard. Nelly, Country Grammar. This still hits to this day. I love it. This is my OG copy. Just unbelievable good stuff. I probably need to actually just get a reissue because I play this one quite a bit, and I'm sure the reissue sounds phenomenal. But man, can you believe this came out 20 years ago? That is insane. Love this album, Nelly. An album turning 20 in 2020. And then show a trilogy of albums. Question number 20. A trilogy of albums. 3 solid albums back to back to back from the same artist or band. There should be a connecting thread here. So that was something I put a little bit of thought to. And as you guys know, if you've watched my channel for any period of time, you know I'm a huge Steve Earle fan. Matter of fact, I've got him up here. There's a signed copy of Guitar Town up there and a signed copy of, if I can get to it, there we go. Boop, right above Wayland, Copperhead Road. So I've got a couple nice Steve Earle pieces up there. But starting with I Feel All Right. That would have been 1996, and then El Corazon, which was 1997, and then Transcendental Blues, which was 2000. So 96, 97, and 2000. Those 3 albums from Steve, just great stuff. So those of you that don't know, Steve did some time in prison. Spent a little bit of time in prison. He'd tell you heroin. He did some bad things and just couldn't stay off of the drugs. While he was in prison, he had a lot of time to reflect, not only clean himself up, but reflect, but write some great songs. He had a whole bunch of great songs. So that's why these two albums came out back to back, simultaneous. And so the thing here is these were most of this stuff probably came off of stuff that he wrote while he was in prison. That's kind of the connecting thread. But for me, the connecting thread is the artwork here as well, and the fact that these were the first clean albums that he had ever done, really, in his career. I mean, even back if you go back to Guitar Town and Exit Zero, Copperhead Road, he was pretty well strung out then. These It's amazing how your mind is free when you're clean. These songs are phenomenal. It took a little while for him to get the strength. His voice came back because it was really, really bad on some of the stuff. It was just really strained. But his voice has since come back, and I don't think it was any stronger than it was on, especially these later of the two albums, El Corazon and Transcendental Blues. Really good stuff. You guys know I love Steve Earle, and if you love singer-songwriter stuff, the Dylan, the Springsteen, stuff like that, check these out. They're great. That's it. That's the questions. Question number 21 was some kind of a bonus. Give some shout outs. I love shout outs. Personally, I know a lot of people get butthurt over shout outs. I don't personally care. I think that they're great because I don't have a lot of time to research and hunt out new people to go sub. I just don't have the time to do that. But I have, what I can tell you is I have heard people give shout outs that I have went and checked, went and looked at their stuff and have liked and subbed their stuff. So to me, I know he's probably going to hate me for doing this, but I want to throw a shout out to my buddy Mitch Wood. I think Mitch, I'm hoping he's going to start making more and more videos. He's getting his music room in shape, just in his new house. He's finally settled into the home, getting the music room in shape. Now he'll have a place to film videos. He's got some great stuff that he can share with you guys. He and I share a lot of it back and forth privately, but I'd love for Mitch to start sharing more personally or publicly with you guys. He's got a channel on here. It's just Mitch Wood. Go check him out. I think he could use some more subs. Ben over Metal Ben's Chronicles. I don't know if he's recently changed his name, but Metal Ben, he's very passionate about what he shows, his metal, whether it be 80s metal, whether it be 70s, 80s metal, all the way up to brand new metal. He's really passionate and it makes some dark, kind of like they almost remind me of I don't know if I've ever told you this, but almost remind me of WWF hype videos. They're like real dark and ominous, and he's real intense, and they're very entertaining. Plus, he's very knowledgeable about the metal that he shows and speaks about. Metal Mickey. I love Metal Mickey's channel. I'm sure he's got you guys all know Metal Mickey, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Metal Mickey, go check him out. Great stuff. And then new friend of mine within the last year or so, Darcy, over at Darcy 6 Strings 9 Lives. Great guy. Couldn't come across as a better guy. And he shows some really good stuff. He'll go through and show collections, whether it be CDs, whether it be vinyl, whether it be cassettes. He's showing a lot of different stuff. So, guys, I'm already rambled on for 35 minutes. This is my Vinyl Tag 2020. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Always tuning in, giving the likes, even those of you who are giving thumbs down. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm not here for that. I'm here just to share music, share love. And for those of you that take the time to comment, I do want to thank you for that, because I've been trying to do better in last year, and I'm continuing to try to do better leaving comments on videos, because that way you're really reaching and connecting with somebody. But thank you guys for that. Thank you for all the love. I wish you guys the best in the upcoming year. Take care, guys. Until next time. Peace.